Hello, family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night because there's a night, at least one night person here. Thank you for joining. It's another new day, new, beautiful, brand new day. And of course, we continue the journey. It's going to be a long, 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 long journey because the answers are never getting finished. Why unpassive? Of course, my sister and myself, we are here to tell you another reason why you can only choose unpassive and nothing else but unpassive. Yeah, of course, as both of us partner in everything but crime, I say hello, sis. Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, whatever time you're watching. Thank you for joining us again today. And please do join in the conversation. And for those who have subscribed, thank you for subscribing. For those who haven't, please consider doing so. So don't forget, join in the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what you have experienced as we start the program today. And thank you for always returning every day as well. Thank you, Sister Comfort. So let's go. I'm all fired up today.
Oh yes, oh yes. Of course, guys. This is a week that we are talking about some people, a group of people that are so special in our hearts and in our lives, dedicated men and women of God. Tell us what happens in your community, in your religious community. We talk about pastors, we choose examples of what we know. Yesterday was about pastors, preachers who take care of the church and stuff. And today we move it further to missionaries. And missionaries are equally spiritual leaders, but they take it to another end. They take it a bit farther, right? Like somebody just said, I had a quick read. Somebody is saying that these that missionaries are they are the shock troops of the Christian world, and thanks to missionaries, and other parts of the world get to know us, and we also get to know other parts of the world through missionaries. And of course they go a long way, to bring cultures and societies and communities together, connecting us both physically and spiritually. These people do more than enough. Fortunately, there's nothing about fortunate or what. One thing that is different about them, these are people that any normal person would call heroes, but they don't accept that because they are called to serve, and they don't accept heroship. That is what we would have been calling them, but they do not
Mm.
accept that. They are just out to serve, and that's it. So sis, let's have a look. Just say hi to our people so we can go from there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for everyone returning and for those who are joining us newly. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Please let us know what it is in your area or what it is when it comes to religious people. We are just talking about the ones we know from the Christian angle. Let us know exactly what happens on your side because these people are very, very, very important just as much as the pastor that stays put in a church is important, or the imam that is in the mosque is important. Then these people also are so important. It's just that they are not in a particular station, but they are outside of probably even where they are supposedly residenting, or residential or residencing, residing more like it. So let's hear what you have to say as you join in the conversation today, because missionaries are very important
Exactly.
people, and
Exactly.
they're they're very daunting. I call them daunting people because they take on things where God says go this way, and they don't have a clue of what is going to be happening, how they're going to sort themselves out. They just pack themselves, their wives, their children, and they're off. You know.
We want again to quickly take a disclaimer. We are not here to preach. If it were preaching, we would let you know and we go from there, but it's not about preaching. We just want to talk about people who take care of our spiritual needs. These are very important
Mm.
people in our lives, and we care about them. And while we are here, we're not here to kind of gossip about them, but then to tell the world, to tell somebody who knows a missionary or a pastor or somebody, or who is it in your religious community, that there
Mm.
is room here for someone, that if they find themselves in Mr. Mufare's ecosystem, they'll have something to do to take care of all other needs. so that they concentrate solely on feeding the soul with what God has called them to do. That's why we are here. We are not preaching, we are not particular about anything. We chose Christian pastors because that is what we have. We would really, really, really appreciate if you share your part of it with us, because we need to know. We are here for everybody. Thank you, guys. So, missionaries, as you see, guys, these people, sometimes if you don't understand them, you will think that they are crazy. Sometimes if you don't understand them, yes, sis, sometimes if you don't
That's why I
understand
said
what,
they are
yes,
daunting.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, of course, they do the most daunting task on earth. If you don't understand, you think they are crazy. You think they don't know what they want, because this is 21st century. A missionary has this calling that I just want to go somewhere in the middle of nowhere, down the valleys of Papua New Guinea, down there in the forest, and live with a typical native of the Papua New Guinea down village, or somewhere down there in Africa or Asia, anywhere where they don't understand the language, where there is no electricity, where there is no social media, where there is even sometimes, I'm afraid, no access to even WhatsApp to communicate family. They leave family with their children. For those who are married, they go and find themselves there just to bring light to people, to teach them about God. And they do just way, way, way too much. See, I think, well, let's introduce gradually, because what they do, they have this calling to bring God to people, to bring the word of God to people, to bring the light to people, which goes a long way. So let's go after that. I have something interesting more. We have more, of course, to share about what our missionaries do, so that we feel reason to share this video with them or somebody who knows them, or to invite them to watch. Sis.
And I feel very much sometimes for those of them, sometimes when they have this calling, that go out, you understand me, with their young children and young family, especially when they're just maybe married, and then they just have a toddler in their hands, and then they have to go out and into an unknown terrain, an unknown, place that they've never been before, and they actually stay put with it. But the issue there is, can you imagine that kind of family? They trust God. I mean, they live by faith, as in faith as in they don't actually have a lot of money to do anything with. They just trust God. But at the end of the day, if we have somebody that is like that is into that, and then you give them an affiliate account, I know that is faith too, because it takes faith for them to be able to receive it from whoever is going to be giving them the affiliate account, because many a times some of them don't have the money to give, and now that is free. When it comes to subscribing to the paid product, you understand me, they can also
Mhm,
use these tools, IT tools, to benefit the kingdom that of God, the preaching of the word, and then the work that they do as well. Many a times, you know how many charities we support here in the UK. Can you imagine those of them that are actually missionaries, for them to be able to televise what they are doing on their field on O Connect for people to see, so that they
mhm,
have an understanding of what exactly some of their jobs, that what it entails. And then there's some missionaries, one time you watch them, they can also showcase their life, the way they live, also on O Connect, such that you have an understanding of they are the kinds that have seen that, when the Bible says literally, whatsoever is presented in front of you, you should
mhm,
eat without questioning, just bless it, and have it. They are the kinds that take that bold step. They
mhm,
just get to a place, get soaked, they learn how the people's languages. Can you imagine that? They learn the people's languages, they learn it from scratch, they learn how to communicate with the locals. They learn not just that, they also go into making sure they dive into the culture, and even into the food of the people
I
within that
know. I
area.
was
And
thinking
then
about
you see
that
them know
too.
how to eat it more than more no exact know how to eat it more than the indigens themselves. You understand that kind of thing. But can you imagine, with the help of an affiliate account, what
Hmm.
can happen when it comes to academy? Then look at their O Connect Academy. O Connect can translate the languages take for example, they're out on crusade ground. You understand me? That
Mhm.
they are using O Connect, and then people can actually hear what they're preaching. If they're preaching in English, for example, whatever, they can hear it in their own languages as well and understand it real good. Then their children, how to be educated. Their children might not necessarily, I don't know, maybe they go to local school in the nation or in the country where they are resident. But can you imagine if they decide to homeschool, then O
Mhm.
Connect has an academy, are the two tools that they will be using together to, foster the education of their
Yes.
family, of their children, as well as themselves, because they too tend to have, what do they call it, self-development when it comes to
Personal, yeah,
to
personal
missionaries
development,
as
all
well,
of
because
those.
they do
Yeah.
give them training as well. So
Mhm.
it's important that we have a little bit of understanding of what they do, for you to have an understanding of how much that, unpassive could help them when
Mhm.
it comes to IT solutions as well.
Yeah, one thing about these people sees that we need to stress on why we bring missionaries to the spotlight is this. These people, like I said earlier on, if you don't understand, if you don't see from the spiritual realm, you are like, these people are not normal, because it's not just any kind of person just wake up one morning and start going. They actually have this calling. And what do they do? One thing we need to know is missionaries, they don't have salaries. Some pastors, at
Mm,
least they are put on salaries before they're either very small, or some are fortunate, they have big churches and they do well, they have good enough salaries to live a good life, some at least. But then missionaries don't have salaries. As you said
mm.
earlier on, sis, they live by faith. And this is what
Faith.
happens more in most, if not all of the cases. Missionaries are being sent to the ground by a church. And we do commit, we do say, yes, I'm making my commitment this year that every month I will give $100 or $20 every month, so that it goes to our missionary that we have sent to the field in the middle of nowhere where there is no electricity, right? Unfortunately, I am one of those. It took me a very long time because I grew up as a Catholic. Then, before I got born again, went Baptist. When it took me some time to understand what missionaries do, and I saw that need to give. I wish I could look into your eyes now and said, I have ever committed and given faithfully throughout the year. No, I haven't. Why? Because at the end of the month, when you look at the list of the things to do and you are running short, the only person whose portion can be taken off is the missionary, because I've not seen them anyway. They are not here. But I need to pay the bills and do this and that and that and that. And these children, they need pay some shorts for summer and stuff. And so I don't give what I have signed that I will be giving, so that they and their own children to have something, right? And these people, like I said, they are not any kind of people. They are people from all walks of life. They are medical doctors, they are nurses, they are teachers, they are anything. I mean, professionally trained. They say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I have that feeling from God that I need to go out there in the middle of somewhere and bring the light of God. And when they go, guys, what they do, they don't only they don't go with the Bible, they go with their profession. So if they are medical doctors, they do treatments for free to the people. They do whether nursing jobs, teaching and stuff like that. Sister, since when you talked about schools, I was laughing because most of the places they go to, there are even no schools where
Yeah.
they go and start schools, either in their living room or under a tree or something. So they need to home
Yes,
educate.
that's true.
They don't even,
Mm,
So that is how serious it is. They go through that. To be honest, if everybody gives the way I do for missions, guys, I don't you can't lie, because God is seeing my heart. If everybody gives the way I do, then I don't want to think what they go through. Because sometimes, even when you go at the end of the month in church, they're doing all of those things, looking at the records, what we have done and stuff like that during Christian meetings. When you
mm,
see what was sent to our missionaries,
mm,
you are just like, did we really do that? I wish my 50 pounds went in. It would have been 50 pounds more. But it did not go, because I'm also
mm.
struggling. And he is the only one to be the victim. They are waiting because we promised. That's how bad it is, guys. But then there's no need anymore, because if we empower them, they will do more than enough. They will do more
Yes.
than enough in that. They first of all, they use, because what they do, they don't just go take Bibles and they're running after people. Whether you believe in the Bible they're coming to preach or not, they take care of everybody in that community. What
That's
attracts people to what they're doing first is their services. You have a wound, they treat it. You have long nails, they just get something from your back and give you to cut your fingernails. They get a bar of soap and give you and stuff like that. From the little or that they have, it's not like we give them all these things that when you go begin to give to these people you meet. That is how serious we are presenting this. So while we are doing this, if you know a missionary or you know someone who knows a missionary and stuff and pastors and stuff, we are talking about them because we think that they need to be where everybody else is. Going on vacation is something that every family would like to do. I wonder how many of them can go and even at all afford the one that they would have loved to. Why not? Do you think they don't deserve it? They do, because they're just human beings like you and myself, and they have chosen to take upon themselves to lay down any other thing, go far way out of their comfort zone just to make somebody feel good and have a good life. What about that, guys? This is something that, because we're in search of all of them, each time we find them, one thing we will do first thing is give that account. That account, this one account is for your community, this one is for your this, the rest is for the upkeep. So when it's finally running, they dedicate all the services. On the one hand, doing the services from the background of their profession, like the nursing, like teaching and stuff, and on the other hand, preaching the word of God. How is it going to be? How many people are they going to bring to the light so that they feel and look like you and myself, sis?
I love what you said there, where you said that they bring what they have and they bring it to everyone in the community. You see, they bless the whole community. They don't just bless specific people in the community. And that is why we need to make sure that we empower them such that they have an affiliate account. They can do more because they're always on ground and because they're always meeting people's needs. And don't forget, they also attract likes like themselves, just like you said, people that are professionals. Take, for example, like I told you, the one that happens in New York once
Mm-hmm,
every month in New York. They are all Christians, but some of them are not Christians, but it's a buddy, it's a missionary that started it. So they bring themselves all the health professionals that you can imagine in any facet of the medical world that you can imagine. They all come together once every month and meet in New York. And let
mm-hmm,
me tell you something, every person that is homeless, that is, doesn't have food, that is hungry, that doesn't have clothes, all of them that has any challenge whatsoever in any area of their lives medically, they make sure they try to get to that point where they're having that, and they only do it once a month. So
mm-hmm.
all of them come together. That's exactly what missionaries do. When they get into a community, they don't just separate the Christians and separate the ones that are not Christians.
No.
No, they mingle with everyone in the community, regard everyone in the community as their brothers and sisters, minister to the needs of everyone in that community as much as they can. And I'm telling you, by the time you look at what they do out of the little that they have, sometimes some of them sacrifice what is meant for their families, for
Most
the
of the times,
community,
if not all of the times,
especially
sis.
for someone that needs it more than they do. And
Mm,
that is why with it's part of our, being us being how would I put it, part of us empathizing and having compassionate, not just for them but for the work that they do as well, because they
mm-hmm.
go into places, yourself and myself, if
Yeah,
God had said, oh, comfort, let's go to this place, sometimes we will think twice and say maybe we are not hearing, or myself. But they got into the villages that you've sometimes that you've never even heard about
yeah,
before, and go there and do what God has called them to do. But service the community, they serve the community in whatsoever way God enables them. And it's everyone in that community that they serve. So, why will it not be a place where they can be empowered? They can
yeah,
have an affiliate account, they can be able to do more than they are doing right now and serve the community and empower people, even in that community, to be able
yep,
to do better. I'm telling you, by the time you do that, people listen more to the gospel when you minister to their needs at that point point in time, first and foremost, and they see that that ministering to their needs is genuine. You are not doing it so that they can, but you are genuinely ministering to their needs, and that is exactly what they do. They become part of that community. They become soaked into and committed to the lives of people in that community, such that you see them, they will say, "Oh, go and call pastor for me. My child is sick." Sometimes they will
Exactly.
take that child to
In
church
the
because
middle
they
of the
think,
night,
okay, if the
anytime.
past, at least if pastor prays for that child status in the middle of the night, anytime, that kind of thing. And then they have to wake up. If the wife is a nurse, you see the wife attending to that child, that kind of thing. If they
Mm,
cannot save that child, or if they can calm that child down a little bit, they will look for someone that is in the community that has the skills that needs to be able to to be used to attend to that child or to that situation. So it's
mm.
very important. If you know one, please, let's put hands together and let's join together and give them an affiliate account. Give it to them and gift it to them and tell them this is what it can do for you. This is what you
Right.
can use it to do. And it will help you to, foster the job or the work and the calling that you are doing, and even bless the community that God has sent you into even further, you know.
Exactly. It's just, it's just crazy because what we're saying here is not a joke. You know what it means? Being
Mm,
cut off, like intentionally being cut off from the internet. That means, I don't know how, just close your eyes and think. But then they don't mind, they don't care, they go. And they're happy doing it.
yeah.
There's something when they bring pictures, you're like, really? They go to some places where they drink water from the wells, they drink water from here and
Mm,
stuff like that. They learn how to shower like us back home. You put water in a bucket and you go into that small tent behind the house and and shower like that and all of those stuff. They walk. The
mm,
time you go, the vehicle, the motorable road ends here. You need to come off here now, take off your shoes, cross this river or this stream, and continue up there. Go up the hill, go down the valley, go up there, and so on and stuff. They go,
mhm,
guys, and they still smile. I mean, they still
mm,
smile with little or nothing because most of the times there's, I don't know, the one thing, there's this movie, Nigerian movie, I watched it every day, sister, for 2 weeks. The
mhm,
title is The Forgotten Ones. They were
mm,
missionaries. That is when it
mm,
taught me. I said, really, is this what they do? That was
mm,
where I learned about what missionaries do. Because I saw, oh my God, I was like, really? Before now, at least I know a lot because they come and present themselves to church. Each time they visit, they bring
mm,
images, pictures, and videos,
mm,
and they play. You are just like, really, you go through this, and they're still smiling. They're happy, guys. So imagine if we do give many more people would go, because sometimes they're young children, young people too. I don't want to over
mm,
make it look, young people too. They have that calling.
Used.
They come, yeah,
Mm,
youth. They come out of
mm,
school and they feel like, I just want to go somewhere in the Maasai land in Kenya and start some
mm,
missionary thing there. They are just maybe a graduate and stuff like that, and they go with the knowledge from school and start doing whatever they do. Teach them DIY how to. That's what they take in front. It's not like just they go
yes.
and pointing the Bible at you like you have to. No, no,
No,
no,
no, no,
not
no,
that.
no.
The Bible just come like any normal usual thing that when we find time for Bible praying and stuff like that. But what they take in front first is teaching them skills, teaching them stuff, teaching them DIYs, things that they've learned from their mom and dad's kitchens and stuff. Before then, from the academic side, the expertise and stuff, before the word
Mm,
of God. How much they're
mm.
like octopuses. This finger is doing this, the other. They're just like they do a lot, guys.
They do a
Imagine.
lot. They put
Yeah,
basically what they do is put all the talents, all the creativity that God
everything.
has blessed them with to use.
Yes,
Everything,
yes. I've not
everything
seen
they
this
just put it
before.
to use. You know.
Exactly. So because things like this, what is the impact of these works that these people do? Guys, we really need to know what other religion is here apart from Christian. Do you have missionaries or what do you do similar to what we're talking about? We need to know because we need the brethren who do this to do more because this is what missionaries do. Because sometimes you go in a community where there's darkness, a lot of stuff is happening, like the early child marriages and stuff like that, that
Mm,
will suffer
mm.
back home and stuff. You cannot go
It
violently
reminds
declare.
me of is it Mary Slessor now? Mary Slessor.
Mhm, mhm.
Mary's
I don't know
custom
exactly. Yeah.
in social studies.
Okay,
Mary's
yeah, yeah, okay,
lesson.
about that. Yeah. So things like that, you need to take it easy and you start from the most friendly perspective. That is why even when you go, they say, "Oh, you do these beats, they look really beautiful. Can I have a look? Can I learn with you? And then can I show you what I can do and stuff like that?" And so they take it from the most humble way by showing you, like, from the word of God, that this thing that you are doing is not right, like the FGMs and stuff like that. They
Mm,
do everything. You go to
mm,
communities where maybe young people just decide to go out there, do wrong stuff and things like that. But then when they see a young person like them coming from far away country or far away another part of the country just to come and talk to you, they make sense and they change a lot of lives. They build the communities. They build, that is nation building par
mm,
excellence.
mm,
Believe me, because they build you both, from the secular to the spiritual to the soul to body and everything. They just do anything, and it works, the magic. That is where you see the hand of work, God at work. Imagine if we can sponsor more, many, many more will go. Some would really like to go, but the challenges are real, that they cannot
mm,
afford financially, and they need to live. They're humans. You cannot judge them because I can't go. So, and then the Bible preaches, they say, if you give, it means you have gone. So if we can give and we're able to give because we have it, we just lead them into the ecosystem and find everything that is there, even for them. What about that? So I think this is something we really like to hear from others, guys. If you have anything, please go ahead. Let me have a look in the chat and see if there's anything apart from.
I was just going to pick up on, when they get to the community and then they start, trying to mingle in the community. I have something that normally happens. I don't know whether it still happens. This opportunity where it's given to young people within, I think it happens in the US, UK, and then in Europe, where you can travel to places where you have missionaries, and then you go and see exactly what happens there. And it's been a tremendous impact on the young people, especially talking from my church, our own
Yeah,
church person, my own church where worshiping. And you see these young people, just like you were saying, so I don't like this yogurt, I like this yogurt. Then
yeah,
you get on the ground, they get on the ground when you take them along with them. Some of them visited Romania, and then they went into some of the villages in Romania. Some of them got there and started crying because
yeah,
they felt they have been very, very, how will I call it, ungrateful children.
yes,
I said, why? We said, why did you feel like that? I said, because these children don't even have yogurt. You understand that kind of thing, let alone trying to say, oh, I want this, I don't want that.
that
But
yogurt,
just
that
the
yogurt, I
little
know.
bit, exactly, just the little bit they got, they
Yeah,
were so grateful. And according to some of the young people, they said, in fact, they seem much, much happier than
yeah,
themselves.
definitely
So
they
they
do.
couldn't just, it was like, oh my goodness. So this is what some other teenagers like ourselves are going through in another part of the world. And you see, this is what it does, because then it puts, how will I call it, it puts perspective into the life of our young ones as well when they say. And that is why I like the fact that when we have people that are missionaries and they are out either for adults or out for the youth as well, it's very important. And then the youth are able to go and see what they do in the field. It's also very important. It's very impactful on their how will I call it, on their growth and upbringing as well, and then their their thinking and perspective and mindset. You understand me? It's very important that they do this, and it's so how will I call it mind blowing when they all come back, and it's like, oh my goodness. And then you see them really sober up, that kind of thing. You don't even need to tell them to do something in church. They start, it's like, I want to do something, I want to try and do something, I want to do something. And I believe that this is because of what they've seen when they go into the fields where the missionaries are and see what they do and see how they live by faith. I told you the story of the missionary that said, she didn't have food. They were herself and her husband didn't have food. They didn't have food to give to the children. And these are not their children, just their children. They are children that are their children, biological children, and the children that they've picked up from the street to look after. There was no food, but they've learned. They said pray, and then the children were looking at them as if, really, there is no food in this house. There's no food on the table. Say, no, no, no. Let's just thank God for the food. Say, one of you should thank God for the food. They first looked at them as if, okay, all right, we thank God for the food. They finished thanking God for that food. As they said amen, a knock came at the door, and a woman, I don't know whether it's one of the neighbors from them, said, God asked me to bring you food. And she brought this big pot and they put it on the table, and that was food. Not because of anything, but just for you to understand that they live by faith. When they talk about
Exactly.
someone living by faith, they live by faith. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's very good. It's a very good spiritual training. I
Mm-hmm.
practice it myself, but also sometimes it's good for you to be able to have an affiliate account, such that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, even if you still have to trust God, then at least that account too is still there to move things forward, to allow God to do whatever He needs to do, whether through that or through some other means, or if and still by faith, because
Mm-hmm.
even you cannot depend on the affiliate account. You still have to trust God to be able to you operate that account properly to the glory of God, such that it benefits yourself, your family, and the community and the work that you're doing in that community. I don't think, except God categorically speaks to you and say, no, no way, no, no, no. I don't think there is.
Amen.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
You know.
look at this really quick. Thank you so much, Sister Fatmata. It's a blessing. Thanks. So, Fafin says completely she agrees with us because currently they have a moving vehicle fully equipped with washing machine, clothes dryer, and a shower that stops at certain homeless streets. So I've made them an affiliate account. What else? What more? That's just what we want. Sees we can't stop giving because if you listen to our this guy in South Africa of blessed memory, Lucky Dube, he sings that blessed is the hand that I think it comes from the Bible. The blessed is the hand that giveth and the one that taketh. And believe me, on the one hand, what we know and what Mr. Mufara is doing, because I think he's sharing experience or what, or he's just a genius God has brought to us. What he understands is that money doesn't bring happiness. What brings happiness is you watching what this vehicle is going around and doing. This child is so happy that look, I have my clothes washed and they are clean.
Yeah, I've
You
I've
know,
never even heard of
yes,
this one, and
I
this is
know.
really
It's
good.
we
This
are
is really
discovering
good.
everything here because it already.
This
I
is
was
really
thinking
good.
about exactly. I was thinking about our refugee camps in Nigeria. Imagine
Yes,
that we
because
have
how do they
something like
wash their
that.
clothes?
Yes,
Yes, where they
we did
can
not know
wash
that
their
there's
clothes,
something
they
like
can take a
this.
good shower,
Yeah. Now we know
and
that
feel
it's there.
fresh.
Yeah, and we can do more. What if, because
Mm,
like it's just crazy, guys, how much we can do. It's just crazy how
mm,
much we can do. It's just to be ready to do it and see the need and see the reason. Like back to our missionaries, as we were saying, the young people that you were saying, sees sometimes they go because they want to go and see or they want to go and teach. They end up
mm,
learning just a lot. They
mm,
learn just a lot. They learn even how to admire and appreciate nature, because children are born here. If they are not with shoes on, they're with socks on. So when they
mm.
go out there and
They're,
see these
they're
other
always
children,
clothed with something. In
yes,
fact,
they
sometimes
go,
overclothed.
they know. So when they go out there and see these other children without shoes, they say, let me see, have a go and know how it feels. It feels good
Mm,
because it does some good thing. It's healing to the body and soul. When you walk on bare ground, especially bare organic ground, those places where they go to, you go to the hills
mm,
and breathe fresh, natural, unadulterated air and stuff like
mm,
that. They learn how to appreciate God even more. Some of them find home there and just remain there. Say, this is where I
mm,
belong and I'm staying here, and they're happy there. They don't just stay because they have found a new place and they're admiring and enjoying nature. They
mm,
exploit it and use it to the
mm,
glory of God. But they bless people. They teach people. They
mm,
say, listen, because especially back home, we are sometimes just sitting there and say, oh, there's nothing to do, or there's nothing I can eat. They go
mm,
behind the house and see that there is cocoyam, there is plantain, there's banana and stuff. So we can cook this. This is nutritive. This costs hell
mm,
so much money where I come from. And you have it
mm,
standing there behind your house and you say you don't have food, eat it. This is what it does to your body. They say, they say, yeah, that's true. That's how much, so it's just
yeah,
crazy cool how much this
mm,
is. Guys, what we are saying
mm.
here, if we do stuff like what my sister is showing us here, because it will go a long way. Our missionaries, they
Yes,
do it with nothing, because
yes,
I'm just like, what are they doing? But then they do it, like you
mm,
say, sis, they smile. So let's
mm,
push it. Let's push it. This
mm.
video and the
Yes,
one of yesterday, we wanted to go far, really far, to touch everybody. So, and then many people too, they tend to think like, oh, that's not my way of going with, like we say, it's 100% hands free. Some people think
mm.
that you just sit like this and money runs in. No,
No,
ONPASSIVE is
no,
a whole,
uh,
it carries a whole ecosystem. They have products that people buy. That's where you make your commissions or compensations when your products
mm,
are sold.
mm-hmm.
The IT
Commissions, yeah.
products. It's not like you just
Mm.
sit and money falls from space. No, it is work, it's a job. How much have we learned since? That's how it is. Somebody needs to draw closer first and listen to us before they know that, before they go judging, because I am born again. If I'm not a pastor, it doesn't make me less born again, like I'm a fellow pastor or my fellow brothers and sisters. But biblically, things like that are not allowed. Things like what? Have a look first. Have a look, guys,
Mhm.
because some people will hear this and still
You,
go with that with God. They think that it's ungodly.
you know,
What
you
is
know, you know,
ungodly?
you know the the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Sometimes we
Exactly.
don't wait to hear the nitty-gritty of everything, but we just jump
Yeah,
into conclusion and then run with
exactly.
that half-baked information instead
Thank
of
you.
having the full blueprint of what everything is all about before we start making a conclusive,
Exactly.
analysis of why we should or why we shouldn't. It's very important that we listen, and this is something that will benefit anybody, everybody, and anyone. It's
Mm-hmm.
inclusive in every facet of it. It doesn't matter whether you are educated or not educated, techie, not techie, whether you're in the village, whether you're in the city, whether you're in a how will I call it, affluent area, or not in
Mm-hmm.
living in an affluent area. You've just finished university, so far you're 18 and above. And even children, you can open account, get an affiliate account for your children
Sure.
and put your own name and manage that account for yourself, for those children. I'm telling you, if even for the sake of missionaries, their families, their children, their generations, even if their children, because I've seen missionaries that have stepped out of one from one generation to another because that
Yeah,
was what their dad did, and they too are missionaries. But you can imagine having an affiliate account that transfers from one generation to another
I
for
know.
that work to continue
Yes,
regardless, because God, even if they're called or not God has called us to love our neighbors as ourselves. So if you are loving your neighbor as ourselves, you don't need to even sometimes become a missionary. But you can now imagine a missionary that has a family and they are now in their third generation and in third generational missionary work, and then they have an affiliate account. They will not necessarily, how will I call it, go through a lot of hardships that their parents could have gone through or their forefathers could have gone through, but they
exactly.
have more to be able to do more for God, do more in the field that God is putting them through. And don't forget, like you said, Sister Comfort, missionaries are all rounders. They will teach
Yes,
children to cook,
those
they
people
will
are
teach
crazy
mothers how
people.
to take care of themselves,
Yes,
they will teach mothers how to take care of their children, they will teach them how to do food when the children are toddlers,
they
they
do
will
midwifery. They
teach
do
they
midwifery.
will
They
do
deliver.
with free,
Yes,
they will deliver babies, then they will go do farming, then preach, and then go to the communities, pray for them. Then there's an issue, they will sort it out. They even become marriage counselors as well in communities
everything.
because
See,
this one and that one, everything all rounder.
see,
So can you imagine,
yeah.
the
And
hard work
what
that they do?
exactly? Sorry, please. So what I'm just laughing because it's not funny, but what I believe is that when I smile over a thing, I manage it better, right? I'm smiling, not that
Mm,
it's funny, because I'm just like,
mm,
how do
mm,
they do it? This I've been asking year
mm,
in, year out. The moment I
mm,
found on passive, I'm praying to God every day because many people will definitely reject me. I've not done it yet. Don't get me wrong, I've not done, but it's on pipeline. I am trusting God that every church that I've ever been a member of, I give just one account. Then missionaries, there are people will find them. It's very easy to get them. They're all over the place through churches, through further missionaries who are already part of this. Listen, guys, all of these things we're saying that these people do, they are on no salary. They just go on the promise that we make them to them, we the church, that we promise comfort.
mm,
I will this year I'm able to give $50 every month. But then
mm.
when it comes, I do my balance sheet and see, oh God, I'm left only with what?
Budgeting.
Yes, my budget. Thank you. I'm left
Mm,
only with $150. So if I give 50 to them, I'm left with only with 100. I will not give this month. I'll give next month, and stuff like that. But they're
mm,
waiting because you told them to go. Hello. We're not
mm,
judging you who promised,
mm,
and we're not
mm,
judging them for going. We are rather saying that it has happened. There is
mm,
hope, there is change, there is everything, and much
mm,
more is going to be done. Mr. Mufara is
mm,
just an instrument of this change that all of us are celebrating. He says it all the time. He says, I don't know how it's done. It's not me doing it. There is power from above. That's it. Let's all accept it. Let's embrace it. Before you go judging us, we are just bringing love to you as presented to us because we love and we know already what you do, what our dear missionary, not fellow, I'm not missionary, our dear missionaries go through. And we are happy to walk you through the ecosystem to make things better because, like you said, sis, there need to be continuity, but not
mhm.
without resources. It doesn't
Yes.
work like that.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
without resources. People in those
Mm,
days, they could write letters. I'm afraid,
mm,
I'm not sure. I've never tried it though. I think I'll ask my children one of the things, you just write me a letter with the hand and see if it
mm,
works. Who writes letters these
mm.
days? You tap on
There are people that
WhatsApp
still
and
write
stuff.
letters. Yeah.
Listen, yeah,
Yeah.
listen, sis, because what we do here is in those communities where these people go and there's no electricity, there's no network connectivity. What if we plant solar energy all over the place,
Yes.
not only on their
Yes.
roofs, but to cover the entire community where they
The
are in?
community.
And finally,
Yes.
there's WhatsApp for everybody in this community, and we can call people back home. We can have video
Yes.
calls. We can talk on O Connect.
In
Hello.
in the villages.
Thank
Yes.
you. So that's it. There's just way so much out here. As we do this, we pray that this comes good to our dear missionaries because it's for them in the first place. Because it's possible that you will give and some will turn it down. And then
Mm,
others who see the light, may they take it to the brothers. What we want is for them
yes.
to live that life because that's what Mr. Mufara is doing. His platform is
Yes.
flat, level for everybody, including anybody and
Yes.
everybody, and his heart's desire is to do that thing that you missionaries are already doing, because he says, with this I'm able to help quite a few people, but I
Mm,
can't travel the world on my own. You, the
mm,
missionary, you can
mm,
penetrate the hinterlands. Take this,
mm,
go down there and do more than you can imagine.
mm,
What else? So sis,
mm.
it can take the whole day, but we don't want to keep our people here for this long. What do you
No,
think?
we well, we need to round up. I would just say this is where we bring also into perspective.
Oh, you just muted yourself for some reason that we don't know.
Sorry,
Oh,
everyone. I
we,
said
we don't
I
we
was
don't
going to
understand
connect
sign
this.
language.
I was going to connect this to Missionaries for Africa. We already have missionaries in the nooks and corners and the villages back in Africa, in any other country. Take the Amazon, take the New Zealand and the Aborigines and the rest of them. We have them on the ground. But also, this is where Missionaries for Africa comes in as well, because we want to make sure that the missionaries that have been sent into the nitty gritty in indoor villages in Africa, we can cover them as well. Once we are not going to be starting anything new. We are just going to be partnering with those that are on the ground, and
Mm.
that is very, very, very important. So if you know a missionary and you know that they are doing something, please let us know. And if you can open an affiliate account for them, excellent. Even better. If you cannot, let us know. Maybe two people can do it, maybe three people can do it, maybe four people together can do it. It does not matter. So far, they have one. That is
Yeah.
what matters.
Exactly. So we're also in search. We're just after a few. If we find missionaries, pastors, all of those people, everybody we have been. If you have been following the trend of discussion here, we are trying to think about particular people. So it's just a starting point here, guys. We all as this family will have a long way to go, because each time we find them, we will bring them here. Let them tell us what they do with their own
Eh,
mouth, so
This
that
is this is just the beginning. Don't forget
they,
that the real work has not started. When the real work
exactly.
starts, then we bring them here to come and tell us exactly what has happened to them and what they've used the affiliate account to do and what is still doing for
No,
them and what is doing in the communities.
exactly, indeed. In the fact, oh yeah, sure. They'll come to have those who will discover for the first time. They'll come and share with us that this is what we do. This is how we do it. It can be really interesting, as it can get emotional too, because you're like, somebody's like, you really do this? Say, yeah, we do that. I will still smile, So if you're moved, don't rush to give anything yet, because when it's time and they say it, then if you're moved, you say, yeah, I'm happy to give. Even if somebody gives you, I'm happy to give for their 18-year-old daughter and stuff like that. We will do it. I'm happy to give for the community. One, for the community through them, because it goes a long way. They have proven their worth. What an empowerment opportunity. We are empowered to go out there and empower the rest, to go and empower. It's just a kind of continued thing, just going round and round. You see the ripple, you can close your eyes and watch the ripple effect go.
Yes.
So, guys,
Yes.
yesterday, since we had a wonderful discussion with Fernan Kwete, who visited us, and of course, our brother Anita and Andy Burks were there with him. The discussion yesterday was heavily loaded with a new voice in the house, and it's worth the watch. The topic was that Mr. Mufare promises bringing the entire world into his ecosystem, and it's left for you and myself what we want to
To
do
do
with.
something with it.
Because
With
I have
it.
done, Ash is like, I've done my part. I don't care, whatever you want to do with it. That's when we're here discussing missionaries. So, guys, go and watch that when you really have time. And tonight, the topic goes like, all connects. Our baby is the nucleus of the unpassive ecosystem. I am
Yeah.
excited for what I'm going to hear tonight, because each time they're talking, guys, watch me. I'm always like this. I'm just like, what are they saying? It's so sweet. Guys, we love you so very much.
Thank
We
you very much. We
appreciate,
love you all.
yes, we appreciate your all the support, always being there. This thing can be really boring if it's just these two sitting here and looking at you. It's making sense because you are there, and it's actually a family thing. We want to see you back,
Yes.
and many, many more new people. Kindly subscribe to our channels, share, click on the bell, so that the moment we pop in, you are here and we start together and run it together. So sweet. Thank you. Love you. See you really soon in the
Thank
evening. Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye.